What I want to show you here are the 3 different ways you can load the tension rings onto your Pos-T-Vac cylinder, and these are the tension rings that come with your Pos-T-Vac cylinder vacuum therapy system. So the first way is just to manually put these on without the help of a cone or the device. To do that, I suggest doing it with an unlubricated tension ring. Just makes it easier to work with. And rather than pull out here on these 2 outer rings, get inside on the middle here and really just pull it out and create that large opening, and then just straddle the cylinder just like that. And you see I've got it loaded here. You might want to roll it down a little bit and then apply some lubricant here on the end of the cylinder, so that then when you're ready to slide this off and transfer it from the cylinder to the base of the penis, you're able to do that successfully and smoothly without it trying to roll off as you do that. So that's the first way. That's the manual way to do this. If you would prefer to use the cone rather than just manually loading this tension ring onto the cylinder, these come automatically with the Pos-T-Vac system. So what I'm going to do is put this on the end of the cylinder, prepare, and remember you want to put these tension rings on before you build the erection. So once I've got the cone in, I've got to use ample lubricant here. So I just want to load up the cone. There's another video, I'll link to it here in this video, that will show you an animated version of how to do this. I also want to lubricate not only the cone, but the inside of the tension ring. So I'm inside here. The struggle with this really is the lubrication, because it's going to try to roll down the cone. And it is something you're going to want to practice with before you're in the heat of the moment. Make sure that you feel comfortable with this. You will probably fall short a couple times in doing this. You're going to get frustrated, and I would rather you do that sitting at your kitchen counter than do that in a moment of intimacy. So once I'm here, this is up to you. This is a personal preference. I'm finding that for me, the easiest way to do this is to get my fingers on the outside of the tension ring and then just push it down onto the cylinder. Things are going to fly around potentially, and that's all right, especially in the learning part of this, but I just want to get this here to the end, as close to the end of the cylinder, so that when I do build the erection, I'm able to just transfer that quickly from the cylinder onto the body. So again, I encourage you to just keep practicing with it, feel comfortable with it. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And if things do fly around, like your cone flies across the kitchen counter, it's quite all right. It's just part of that learning process. Feel comfortable with it, and then you'll be ready to go. Now finally, I want to show you how to use the Pos-T-Vac ring loader when you load the tension ring onto the cylinder. And this does not come automatically with the Pos-T-Vac vacuum therapy system. Got to order this separately, but you may find that this is the easiest way for you to do it. It's very fluid, works easily. I'll tell you that when you first start doing it, it is not necessarily easy. You might be one of those guys who just like, it just all comes together beautifully for you, or you're more like me, where you really are just facing a little frustration as you're trying to figure it out. But it might be well worth doing if it is something that you feel comfortable with and you can make it work. So here, we've got the same cone that we're using. If we just use our hands, I want to lubricate the cone, and I also want to make sure I lubricate the inside again of the tension ring. Then with this ring loader, you can see if I pull this apart, it's got essentially fingers, and I just want to make sure you can see those. There are 4 fingers. There's this hex nut that comes down here. So what I want to do is I want to take the hex nut, and this is all in the instructions. I'm going to bring this down and sort of reach a click and hold that in place, and that brings those fingers together to a tight place. Then I want to take this tension ring, and you can see here that it fits in there kind of nice. And then what I want to do is just release the hex nut so that the fingers can spread a little bit apart, because what we've got to do as we drive this down onto the cylinder is these fingers have to sort of embrace the cone as we do that. So I want to get this here, and then I'm going to put this here. I want to take this and just create a little bit more leverage for myself as I do this, and hopefully you'll be able to see that, but I'm just going to then drive straight down onto there. It's easier than I just made it look with the face, but it's just on there where I want it to be, and then I pull this away. So the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. You can see that I'm well lubricated here on the cylinder, and then again, I'm able to transfer this easily from the cylinder onto the body. You see I don't have the pump attached here. Once I've got this loaded up and I've cleaned things off a little bit, then I want to attach the vacuum pump itself, build the erection, transfer this onto the body, onto the base of the penis, slide it as far against the body as I can, and just create that longer erectile tissue there. And remember, never wear these tension rings longer than 30 minutes. And always just keep working to find the size that fits best for you. Work with the least amount of tension at the beginning. If that's not enough to hold that venous leak, to hold that blood in the penis, then you might need to go to a smaller version of the tension rings. But all of that's covered in some of the other videos on the website here.